This guy, Tim Drool, the little black crayon, as we call him, that could, um, he's dressed like a gimp longshoreman. Like he just rolls that thing down, and it's got a zipper where the mouth should be. Um, is uh, I was just attracted to the title of this one, and CSL can tell you why. But it's pretty obvious. Sidney Powell betrays Trump in all caps. Pleads guilty and agrees to testify against Trump 2020 defendants. Against her co-defendants. Yes, she rolled. Betrays Trump, though? I mean, he wasn't paying her bills. He was leaving her to hang. Like, he didn't pardon her when he was leaving office to make sure she was covered. By the way, all the stuff that she was indicted on is shit she did from December of 2020 to January 7th. All that shit. That's what she was guilty of. And he could have pardoned her for that shit. He didn't. So who's betraying who? Who betrayed who? We'll find out. Let's see. This is Tim Pool, very upset that the co-conspirators aren't co-conspirating.
In the election interference case in Georgia. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. She says she did it. She's guilty as charged. She was trying to overthrow the election.
I don't know why the kind of dramatics around this. I don't even know why you'd be emotionally invested in Sidney Powell. I'm kind of bemused by the fact that she turned on Trump, but the idea that you'd be upset by it is a little fucked up.
I'm exaggerating a little bit. She pleaded down several misdemeanor charges instead of several felony charges, but she has agreed that she will provide communications and testify truthfully, which suggests she has just placed the knife into the back of Donald Trump.
Yes, nothing sticks the knife, thanks Tim Pool, nothing sticks the knife in the back of Donald Trump like someone testifying truthfully. Think about where you find yourself morally when you consider someone telling the truth to be a stab in the back. It never occurs to you you might be on the completely wrong side of this whole fucking issue, dum-dum?
And will now be testifying against other Trump defendants, which means as one domino falls, so too shall all the others.
No. First of all, they're not all like dominoes, and as far as people flipping, in the case of dominoes, you kind of flip 3 of them and then the cascade happens. The idea that you're going all the way at the top. A lot of times, I got news for you. In your domino analogy, a lot of the early dominoes remain standing because they've cut a deal, and only the final domino or the last 2 fall. It's like Kung Fu Chi, just going whoop-ha! And then the energy goes through all the dominoes, and then 2 of them go blink.
We'll now see how many people who were charged in the Georgia case will begin to plead guilty.
So that they don't have to do time for Donald Trump?
Make the argument. They're not saying they did it.
Yeah, they literally are saying they did it. They're literally in court, legally obligated to say that they did it. Can you tell me that you haven't watched the 3-minute video of this fucking moron saying she did it because she did it and pleading guilty, which means you admit you did it? Tell me you haven't seen that video without telling me you haven't seen that video.
They're pleading down to lesser charges. No. They're telling the press, they're telling the public.
They're admitting to lesser charges that involve 6 years of probation and fines in the thousands of dollars in exchange for not being tried for felonies they admit to. See, when you vacate the indictment, they've admitted to that the greater case against them would result in a conviction. Therefore, they will plead to a lesser charge and agree to contribute to the case against the people up the chain. This is so stupid.
They did it. That's all that matters. No one's gonna.
Yes. Well, I guess it would matter. But what the it is, yes? It being a vacant pronoun.
At the minutia of the cases, no one's going to investigate what they pleaded guilty to other.
You don't have to investigate. It's read in open court. What?
They were accused of trying to overthrow the United States government.
Well, no, not in this case. She was accused of interfering with the election in Georgia and tampering with a voting machine and trespassing, which they turned that trespassing into another charge of conspiracy to interfere with the elections in Georgia. This is a state case. She was not one of the people on Jan 6. She was one of the dum-dums coordinating. Again, and bless his heart, we're all very excited that Sidney Powell was part of this scheme because she's a dipshit, and if she had, two brain cells to rub together, we might actually have a different government than we have right now.
Said, yes, they did it. Amazing, isn't it? Now, I don't know what this means for Trump. I can only assume they're going to file more challenges to his candidacy under the 14th Amendment because he's doing really well in the polls. Currently, the Real Clear Politics average has Donald Trump tied with Joe Biden. So not like winning as of right now. It's gone a little bit back and forth. But he does have many very favorable polls.
Yeah, he's got lots of them, especially the ones he pays for.
This a year out from the election means relatively little. But of course, the effort...
Right, but, keep mentioning them.
Sabotage and stop Donald Trump how would you say this?
Extrajudicially? No, because it's actually involving the judicial system, and there's tons of legal response he can do, and he can file in court, and he's allowed to fight it wherever it happens, and he can verbally protest, so his freedom of speech hasn't been taken. His lawyers in his campaign can file an injunction to get him back on the ballot. But let's just pretend that Biden's just black helicoptering his entire campaign.
Extrajudiciously, I suppose.
Extrajudiciously. It's magically judicious. Judicially, meaning outside of the judicial system, not outside of anal retentive behavior characteristics. It's not extrajudicious. This guy's just too much with the judiciousness. He's letting his peas touch his carrots on the plate, and I don't like it. Judicially. It's judicially. It's okay. Sorry. It's okay. He's a youngin'.
Outside of
the judicial system, the judicious system.
Electorally, outside of the electoral system.
No, inside the electoral system, which involves the Constitution, which says no one who aids and abets a rebellion against the country or gives aid and comfort to our enemies shall be a candidate for president, and the states are allowed to enact that or not, depending on their own constituents, their voters' feelings about it. That's inside. That's all part and parcel to the electoral process. Unless you're saying that it is outside the electoral process that anybody under the age of 35 can't be president.
Instead of saying let the American...
Or that Schwarzenegger can't be president because it's outside the judicious toradora system.
People's vote, they're saying we will lie, cheat, and steal to stop Donald Trump.
They don't have to. They literally don't have to. One of his co-defendants just pled guilty in court to a misdemeanor because she knew she would be found guilty of felonies and didn't want to do jail time, so she turned on him for his part in the conspiracy to defraud the electorate that he engaged in 2020. There's no trickery here. Dumb fuck. She said it.
A story from Time Magazine. We also have some audio clips to play for you.
Awesome. Audio clips. Oh, shit. It's 2023, bitches.
Sidney Powell pleads guilty in case over efforts to overturn Trump's Georgia loss. Lawyer Sidney Powell pleaded guilty to reduced charges Thursday.
Woo!
Over efforts to...
Every time he says that somebody in Trump's case pleads guilty, does he do a Kevin from Home Alone head grasp?
Turn Trump's loss in the 2020 election in Georgia, becoming the second defendant in the sprawling case to reach a deal with prosecutors.
Oh my fucking God, like dominoes. The slowest If dominoes took months to fall over once they bump into each other.
Powell, who was charged alongside Trump and 17 others with violating the state's anti-racketeering law, entered the plea just a day before jury selection was set to start in her trial. She pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanors related to intentionally interfering with the performance of election duties. And now here's what happens next.
All right, tell us what happens next. According to the article you're reading, the next part is she'll serve 6 years of probation, be fined $6,000, and have to write an apology letter. And then she's got to explain the entire conspiracy on video, which she already did last night or night before last.
Donald Trump is going to be facing a similar trial, right?
Uh-huh.
Sidney Powell, now on the record saying, yeah, did it. So what's going to happen?
Other people engaged in this conspiracy are going to go, oh, fuck, I don't want to do time either. I can tell you guys what Trump's people told me and what he did and the communications that we had, if you'll let me have, let me not go to jail too. And then they'll do that. And then those dominoes will start to tip, and then they'll stand back up. And
that's all they need. They now go to the jury in the Trump case and say, see, look, Sidney Powell says he did it.
No, they don't have to say that. They've got a whole video of her explaining the entire conspiracy, fuckwad. This is so stupid.